Hey, everybody, it's Rob Shear. Gosh, it's so hard to believe that you have walked through those doors to truly make an impact for kids in foster care. I say this quite often. Each and every one of you, we're all part of the same community, and we must always remember that our community is not our zip code. It's actually our human race. As you come in and volunteer your time, and by the way, time is the most valuable thing that we all have. And the fact that you're giving time out to let kids in foster care know that they are seen. And that's all that we want. As you look around our national center and you see pictures on the wall, you'll see what an impact we truly can make as we come together. I want each and every one of you to know some statistics as we start this journey out today. Number one, we have one child every 2 minutes. That's 700 a day that enter foster care. We know close to 90% of those kids will carry a trash bag. We also know that those kids go into what we call holding centers. They call them rainbow rooms. We also know that children who go into foster care that come into the system and go to CPS, they'll end up sitting in those offices for hours, some of them even days. And so we really want to make sure that we are there with them from the first step that they make. And with that, that's how Comfort Cases was born 13 years ago. And by the way, it was all because of these amazing kids behind us. These are mine and Reese's kids. My amazing son, Alex, he's 24 years old now. And by the way, if you haven't heard the story, we actually adopted him when he was almost 20. He actually came and lived with us when he was 18. And then there's my beautiful daughter, Amaya. She's 21. She came to live with us when she was 4 years old. And I'll never forget that first night when the first time that I saw her smile after hours wasn't until she tore the tag off her brand new nightgown. I remember saying to her, Maya, why are you smiling? She said, Mr. Rob, I've never owned a new pair of pajamas before. My friends, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable that kids come into a system because of a choice that someone else made, and we can't even give them a new pair of pajamas, but that's changed. And then my amazing son, Makai. Makai's now 19 years old. And then there, of course, my son, Grayson, who you'll probably see as you come around the center. He is here almost every single day, making sure our cases get shipped all over the country. And Grayson is 18. And then, of course, our son, Tristan. Like to call him my baby, but he doesn't like me to call him that any longer. He's 17 years old, a junior in high school, and runs track, plays football, and life is great. But also, I want you to meet some other people throughout the center. Number one, over here on my shoulder, you'll see Carly. She's hanging up in the center. Carly is absolutely amazing. I was very, very fortunate to sit on the advisory board for Sesame Street. And when Sesame Street asked me what we needed to do, I said we needed to get a Muppet in foster care. And sure enough, that's how it happened. Carly is now 6 years old. She's actually going to be seven in May. And the thing is that she teaches kids about food insecurities, drug addiction, people who are experiencing homelessness in foster care. And then look on the other wall. You'll see some of the amazing things that have happened throughout the years. Ellen DeGeneres, thank you so much for helping us spread our wings and become a national organization. But if you also look, you'll see the fact that we are actually an international organization. In 2021, Reese and we jetted over to the UK, met some amazing humans, and we started Comfort Cases UK. We serve roughly about 84,000 children in the United Kingdom. And on the wall, you'll see our board of trustees that run our UK operations, including Sarah, our amazing CEO. But also, I want you to look at some of the kids on there. These are kids who have actually received our cases. And I know that I don't want to draw this out, but I want you to continue to look at the pictures of a lot of our friends. I want to give a big shout out to Tiffany Haddish. She's been a friend of mine and Reese's for years, and she's such a supportive friend for Comfort Cases. But also the scholarship recipients. We give scholarships out as well. Walk down the hall, you're going to see a beautiful map. That map will show you where we have delivered all our cases. Over close to this time, about 295,000, delivered them to all 50 states, DC and Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas. And by the way, if you see a different colored pen, that means we've penetrated every single child welfare office in that state. And by the way, as you keep looking around, we have our new donation room. That room is only for our senior volunteers because everything we have gets inspected. And if things come in and we cannot not used, guess what we do? We actually donate them to other organizations, Bach, which is the Betty Ann Cranky Center. We give to the Shower Truck, to Title I schools. So whenever we get and we can't give to kids in foster care, we still make sure it goes back to our community. And by the way, guess what time it is? It's time to pack a case. So let's go on over to the packing table and let's pack a case together. That was just a quick trip over here to where we actually pack our cases. This is where the biggest impact gets done. And by the way, as I said, close to 295,000 cases. Well, guess what? We're gonna pack a case together. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a backpack. That's exactly right. If you notice, all of our backpacks are different. The reason why? No two kids are the same. So I'm gonna grab my backpack. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a pair of pajamas. These pajamas are wrapped in a ribbon because they're a gift of love. They also have several pairs of Bombas socks in there. Thank you, Bombas, for your love and support. The only thing you'll ever see us brand within our organization is this tag. This tag actually tells the social worker that this is a girl and she's of size 4T. So as I know that this is a little girl size of 4T, in my mind, I'm thinking about her. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a lotion, shampoo, conditioner, and a bar of soap. I'm gonna lay that right in there. I'm gonna grab my toothbrush and my toothpaste. Now, for our young ladies that are over the age of 10, the thing that we wanna make sure that we do is understand each and every one of them. We also always wanna make sure that we empower our young girls. So here at Comfort Cases, we actually started a program that we have partnered with the Patisse Foundation. The Patisse Foundation actually gives us menstrual kits. These are pads and wipes. We then got a pamphlet together. We actually co-branded this. This is a education pamphlet for all of our young girls over the age of 10 to really talk to them about their menstrual cycle. You know, the thing is I want to remind each and every one of you, none of us would be here today if it wasn't for a woman and her menstrual cycle. So we need to make sure it's more normalized. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a coloring book and crayons. For our kids that are under the age of 10, we want to make sure that, as I told you, where they're going to be going as they wait for their, foster family, that we give them something to do, and I want them to have a brand new coloring book and crayons. If they're over the age of 12, we actually give them a journal and a pen and pencil set. The other thing I want to make sure we do is give them an age-appropriate book. I will remind all of you, there is no such thing as a used book, my friends. It's only a book that's been loved. And then we're gonna grab this affirmation card. Now, here's the test. Always remember you're braver than you believe, stronger than you feel, smarter than you think, and love more than you know. Who said it? Right, Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my stuffy. Oh, so many to choose from. Oh, this is perfect. And then I'm gonna grab my blankie. And you know what? I'm gonna go over to the packing table and pack this bag along with some other people. So I'm gonna pack the case right here. So the first thing I like to do is I always like to lay everything out. Make sure that I didn't forget anything. Got that toothbrush, the hygiene stuff, the pajamas, the crayons, and then this amazing, beautiful backpack. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the pajamas. I'm gonna take this tag off right here. I'm gonna place these pajamas right in there. And then I'm gonna take this tag and I'm gonna tie it right here on this loop. Now, let me tell you why we do this. One, we wanna make it easier for our social workers. We wanna let them know that this is a girl size 4T. She doesn't have to go, or he have to go through the bag and look. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my blankie. Look at this beautiful quilt that people make. You know what? If you're a quilter, or if you're a knitter, we love to have the quilts and the knitted blankets. Then I'm going to take my coloring book. I'm gonna take my crayons. I'm gonna put them in the case. By the way, I'm putting them in there where the fact they make sure that the corners don't bend. Then I'm gonna take my hygiene kit, put that right in there. I'm gonna look at my toothbrush and toothpaste. I'm gonna make sure that the baggie is sealed. I'm gonna put that in there. And then I'm gonna take my affirmation card. And guess what? I'm gonna sign the back of it. That's exactly right. I'm gonna let this young person know that I actually packed this case just for her. just like that. And so I'm gonna put this in my book. Put that right in there. I'm gonna put my book right in here. And then this is the part that everybody seems to forget. I'm gonna take this stuffy and I'm gonna give it a hug. That's exactly right. I'm really gonna hug it. And after I hug it, I'm immediately gonna put it in the case and I'm gonna zip it up. And guess what? You just packed yourself a comfort case. And by the way, the reason that I hug that stuffy is because I truly know that when this young girl opens up this backpack, she's gonna feel that love. And I hope what you take away from today is to remember, you don't have to know someone to love someone. Take care.